this experience you said like Atma Sakshatkar, like we cannot experience it. But all these saints, like the great saints like Ramana Maharishi and other enlightened people, they experience something and then they turn into a different person altogether. What was that experience then? If it is not possible to have.
So Ramana Maharishi himself said, nobody can experience Atma. He even Ramana Maharishi himself said like that.
So my question is like, what is that experience then? If that is
so in the form, but anyhow, what they experience is only consciousness. All experience are consciousness. For example, if you feel I am, we can feel something. If you look at yourself, you can feel something. That feeling of something is known as consciousness. The I consciousness is a consciousness. You can feel something, you can know something. During some meditation or anything, you can feel something. So whatever you feel is consciousness. It is not, but everything beyond the consciousness, on the basis of consciousness, awareness is there. Without awareness, nothing is possible. No consciousness is possible without awareness. So awareness is the basis, Atma is the basis. But here, the purpose of introducing Atma is to delete the consciousness alone, not to feel the Atma. But we are mistaken that as if we have to feel Atma, we have to enjoy Atma, we have to taste Atma. That is impossible. No scriptures say we can feel Atma. Even scriptures say that you have to know Atma by Atma itself. You can aware Atma by Atma itself. We cannot, but we are consciousness. What we feel, what we handle, we can operate. What we operate is only consciousness. Consciousness cannot feel the Atma. Consciousness cannot feel the awareness.
That their final experience was losing the consciousness itself.
Only all experiences are only conscious level. There cannot be any experience. If it is in the form of experience, it is a consciousness. Consciousness means it has some appearance and disappearance. There is no unappeared consciousness, undisappeared consciousness. There is no such thing. Everything has to disappear. All consciousness has to go. All appearance, all experience has to go.
Like Ramana Maharishi, Buddha, up to today, they were in some kind of state. They realized or experienced something, then they changed the next moment, they changed into something else. So what is that experience?
So that I have explained in the first day session, and he was not. If you listen to the video, you can understand like this. So Ramana Maharishi got the fear of death, and he allowed the fear of death. When you allow the function of your mind, naturally the liberation will be there. Whoever allows their mind, naturally they feel the liberation.
It is the dropping of consciousness.
Dropping of
I consciousness.
Not only I consciousness, whatever it be, in the everything goes away. That means you allow yourself, you allow everything to pass away from yourself.
So the minute they felt that this is the truth, the next minute they changed. When they realized this.
Yeah. But he begins to it begins to function in a different dimension.
Process which they did, there is something called, they say, where the ego dissolves. What is the point of dissolution of when?
So self-responsibility, that means if you don't have any responsibility to shape yourself, that is the dissolution of the I consciousness. Otherwise, but whenever you have the thought, naturally some I consciousness will be there. There cannot be any thought without I consciousness. So if you have thought, naturally you will have I consciousness.
Dissolution is also at a psychological level.
Psychological level. The psychological responsibility, dissolution of the psychological responsibility alone is the dissolution of I consciousness.
It is not something at the energy level or some other level.
Not only in the intellectual level. No, no.
Many people think so, actually.
But anyhow, when there is no responsibility to shape yourself, naturally the function of our mind will be in a different plane. So it may be look as if some energy change in within yourself, but it is not the but it is not at all a energy one. Whatever comes, it goes away. Previously, you manipulate everything, you regulate everything. Now you give freedom to everything. So everything function on its own. Previously, you make it function. Now you allow it to function on its own. That is the difference.
தமிழில் கான்சியன்ஸ்
உணர்ச்சி அல்லது உணர்வு அப்படி ஏதாவது சொல்லிக்கலாம். உணர்ச்சின்னு சொல்லலாம்.
மனம்ங்கிறது வேற, உணர்ச்சிங்கிறது வேற.
Mind means total. Total. This is some specific, some part of the mind. Feeling is a part of the mind.
Ayya, so this consciousness is short-lived, it's anicca.
Yeah.
Yes? Now, do you mean that this I consciousness is ego? Is this ego?
Yeah, everything. Whatever may be the consciousness, whether it is in the form of I consciousness or in the form of some emotion, everything is short-lived, momentary.
Yeah, but is that what you mean by ego? Like...
Yeah, everything is, that is ego. But whenever it is when it is appearing, it takes the role of ego. But at the same time, ego means some adamant nature also it may mean. That is a different kind of emotion. In the emotion level, if we give some importance to the I consciousness, and if it can be considered as ego, if it is related to the external world is concerned, how you behave. Your behavior level is related to the external world. You have to give some place to other person. You have to give some regard to the other person. That means related to the external circumstances. There we can consider, if you are adamant nature, if you do not give importance to other people, then we can take it as an ego. But it is related to the external world. But the psychological world is concerned, we should not separate it as the ego. The I consciousness and ego is same in the psychological world. Not only the responsibility also goes away. The responsibility is the important thing. We have to put down the responsibility. Almanam is the deeper conscious mind. Subconscious mind is our character, Siddham. பொதுவாக நம்ம ஒரு விளக்கத்துக்காக பல விதமாக இது பண்ணுறோம். அந்த டைமுக்கு அப்படி சொன்னால் சரியாக இருக்குன்னு சொல்கிறோம். இது மொத்தத்தில் என்னன்னு சொன்னால் எல்லாத்தையுமே மைண்டுன்னு தான் சொல்கிறது. இப்போ இறைவனை கூட காஸ்மிக் மைண்டுன்னு தான் சொல்லுவோம், பிரபஞ்ச மனம்னு சொல்லுவோம். எவ்ரிபடி இஸ் என்லைட்டன்ட். ஸோ நோ கொஸ்டின். So everything is only for the beginners. As a beginner, we can practice anything. As a Sakshi Bhava, we can practice choiceless awareness. We can practice everything. You can practice. But as a beginner, we can. Otherwise, we can, as an entertainment, you can have fun. You can have some meditation, some practice or anything. But I have also taught 3 forms of meditations. But if time permits, we may also take in some video clippings for meditation itself, because some beginners it may be helpful. If time permits, we can have 3 kinds of meditation. But it is not useful for this class. This enlightenment liberation purpose, it is not useful. But for the beginners.
What comes that I comes.
Mm.
And there is an experience which is creating the experience.
Mm. So it looks like that because our memory pattern, we should not be without our memory. So even though each and every moment some new thought comes, that is a scientific one. But even though the thought alone is the reason for the I consciousness, so naturally we have to infer. But at the same time, it will look as if it is a continuous one. Gap. Naturally, some gap must be there because each and every one is a new one, fresh one. Naturally, some gap will be there, but we cannot perceive, we cannot feel it. Yeah, because of our memory, even though some gap is, the memory continues, giving a continuity to each and every thought. So we took ourselves as a continuous person from childhood onwards. Yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Continuity. It looks like that. Yeah, changing. Yeah, each and moment by moment a new thought alone has come. That is the fact, that is the science. But anyhow, we cannot understand, we cannot feel. That is also a science. That is also a fact.
So it is not possible for somebody else to sprint and say, okay, this is, I was there, it's gone, next day I is coming.
So we can infer, we can understand. And with the help of understanding, we can infer like this. Otherwise, we cannot feel.
So the inferer is called Atma?
No. Infer is it is also another kind of thought. It is also a thought. The thought also infer. The inferring person is also a thought. We do everything only with the help of our thought. So samadhi, different kind of some conscious, someone thought alone will be absent, but in the other form of our mind will be awakened. We have some awakening, but our thought will not be there. So we have some awakening of our mind will be there, but no thought will be there. So we cannot feel anything in the samadhi state. No consciousness, because when there is no thought, there is no I consciousness. We cannot recognize anything, we cannot feel anything, but some blunt feeling will be there, but we cannot feel anything. For example, you are in a dark room. You cannot feel, you cannot look anything. But at the same time, you are available, that you can feel yourself. You can feel yourself, but you cannot see anything. So in this way, the samadhi state itself, some feeling will be there, but we cannot understand anything. Even yourself itself, your I consciousness itself. Some feeling will be there, some blunt feeling will be there. In the deep sleep, nothing will be there. But sometimes some persons, for example, there are certain persons who are having subtle body come away from the physical body through subtle body and return to the physical body. Certain people are there. They can come away from the physical body and return to the physical body. So if you have the capacity like that, during your sleep itself, they can have some different kind of activation in your subtle body. Thereby you can watch even the sleep itself. So for such people alone, they can have the feeling like this. But other ordinary people, normally it will not have. But some special sensitivity will be developed for those persons. But it is normal. It is not normal. Can you? No. I have no idea. I have no personal experience like that. But there are many persons with me. Some person have the same experience like this. Ariduyil, Ariduyil. Ariduyil.
When I am, so what happens is after some time, one tries to ignore the thought. You know, so there is a suppression of thought and, okay, forget the thought, that is not real. This is real. I am sitting, so keep focusing on that. So, I mean, that kind of leads to a state of mind which I don't think is, I mean, I don't know. What is your opinion about that?
So here also it is a kind of thought, but the thought is not wandering, it is circling yourself alone. So it is a different kind of thought. You are giving some access to circle yourself alone and to the feeling, what a sensation, and you keep the thought within the sensation level alone, and you are not. It is not wandering. So it is a kind of thought. It is also a thought level, but at the same time you are giving importance to the some consciousness. So it is only for the some yoga practice, some energy. You are creating some energy field, and you are attending. You are attending the. You are having some focusing your attention to that. So the attention keep on going within yourself. So it is some practice.
But it is not a good practice. I mean, you would not.
So as a beginner you can do. It may be considered as a good one, but as it is only for the beginners. But afterwards, the understanding alone will help.
The understanding that we have nothing to do with
Nothing to do psychologically. Then only it will ends in liberation. Otherwise, this will not end in liberation. It will doing the same thing again and again. It is a maintaining a state.
My question was similar to hers, but I will adjust it a little now. Does this mean that this understanding you call enlightenment, that is outside of consciousness then? You will never have an experience of this understanding, because then it's inside of consciousness and it's another thought. Is this how to understand this?
So here we have to understand we should not take any shape, we should not entertain any shape for our consciousness. We have to accept our consciousness in whatever it may be the form. Whether it may be in the form of some emotion, good emotion, bad emotion, we have to accept it wholeheartedly. We should not have any stand for ourselves. I must be this, some peacefulness or some good energy level or some bliss consciousness. If you try to keep ourselves in a good state, that means we are selecting some consciousness. But here we are accepting wholeheartedly everything. It may be in whatever it may be the form, it may be in a good form or bad form. We are naming, we are not selecting any consciousness. We are selecting all, we are accepting all consciousness. Everything as good, everything is right, everything is natural. We are not selecting anything. We are accepting is totally. We are not partially.
Try another formulation. So this enlightenment, to say, is the knowledge that leads to liberation.
So yeah, that means when we understand, when we accept everything wholeheartedly and we allow it to function, when we allow it to function totally, it moves, it freely moves. The free movement of our consciousness, the free movement of our mind is the liberation. It ends in, because this happen only because of our understanding, only because of our enlightenment. Then only we allow the natural function of our mind. Otherwise, we will not allow the mind. We try to control our mind. We try to shape our mind. So whenever we understand, we have no business within the mind. We accept everything as it is. Then only we give freedom to our mind. Otherwise, we will not give freedom. Only because of our enlightenment, we give freedom to the mind. So when we give freedom, the mind functions in freedom. That is liberation.
That means that this thing you call understanding is not something. Normally, I would say I understand something. That is a thought I have. I can understand why a dog is running away from something. For example, I say I understand this. I have this thought, but in this case, the understanding that leads to liberation, that is not a thought and not inside consciousness. Is this correct?
So liberation is the happening. It is a natural happening. In the liberation, anything may happen. Anything may move. So the movement, the free movement of the mind, in the mind, some good thing may go, the good thing may move, bad thing may, everything, whatever may be the reaction of the circumstances, everything moves freely. But what the crucial thing is that we decide work in the mind. So we have to come to the conclusion. It is only intellectual conclusion. There is no deeper level of conclusion. Only superficial and intellectual conclusion is enough. Our conclusion must say we have no work within the mind. When we understand like this, we do not do any work within our mind. We allow the mind to flow on its own, and the mind will flow on its own. So, but we have to come to a conclusion. The conclusion is enlightenment. A thought level, only superficial level. But at the same time, we should not be any doubt upon our understanding. If you have some confusion, it may be like that. If you think like that, it will not work. It must be wholehearted, it must be conclusive. The understanding must be conclusive, but it is only superficial and thought level. It is enough.
On the mind level, does that thought on the mind level also have some movement in the body? Is there a corresponding sensation in the body?
So, whenever we have what kind of thought you are having, naturally it creates some energy.
Yes.
For example, when you think of a snake, naturally you will have some adverse feeling.
Yes.
So, somebody, if you think of your son or some lovable person,
yes,
naturally you will have some sensation according to that.
Right.
So, whatever may be the thought, we will have the sensation.
Okay, okay. But we don't pay attention to any sensations. We just keep on working on the fact that this is a flow.
This is a natural thing.
Yeah.
We have to, but here we should not take any stand. We should not try to keep any emotion permanently for ourselves.
Right.
It is impossible. So the possible thing is everything is to free flow. That is the natural thing. We should not give importance to lock any emotion. This is a good emotion, I must lock with me. Right. If it is a bad emotion, I will drive away from me. So whatever may be the emotion, you have to have a natural access from yourself.
Right. So when you say it is moment by moment, so for example, if I take one inhale, one exhale, okay? This is moment by moment. I'm not, then I am purposely moving my energy or into focusing on the breath. Yes? Like you said, 10 breaths. I'm regulating the breath.
In the breath.
Yeah. So for example, if I do that for 1 hour, then I do it for, like in meditation camps, you actually do 10 hours a day. Now, what I've understood from what you is that this is an unnatural state. This is not, because you are creating an energy inside, which is not the way it's supposed to be.
But sometimes some practice may help for your health. If it is helpful for your health, you can continue the practice itself.
How can it help my health? Because it's unnatural.
So even though it is unnatural, but for example, eating is it is not natural. You yourself manually eat something.
Yes.
It is even though it is unnatural,
Right.
it is not natural. So inhaling and exhaling may be natural, but eating some food is unnatural. But anyhow, you can select the food which is suitable for your health, suitable for your digestion. That you can select. In this way, some respiration, you can watch something. Sometimes it may be helpful. For everything has some limit. If you within the limit, everything may be helpful. Even during meditation, you may have some bliss consciousness. If it is within a limit, it may be helpful for the health of your body itself. But if it goes beyond limit, then it begins to destroy the body.
Yes. There is a disturbance of energy.
Yeah.
You know, there could be some jerking, there could be some excessive energy build up.
Yeah, okay.
Then we know that then it is excess.
Excellent.
Then we can,
Oh,
we can
so
stop
within
it.
the limit,
Yeah.
when it is helpful, you can make use of that.
Yeah.
Just one question, this is rather outside the syllabus, but nevertheless it's part of my life. This question is on Saguna Bhakti. Saguna Bhakti in the sense, see, I am from a Brahmin family. Right from the beginning, I was born with the grace of Venkatramana. Near our house, there is one Devi temple. It is said that there is Devi Sanchara, Devi goes there. So many people have said that they see Devi around in the midnight. So even I used to go in the midnight to see whether I can see Devi. So 3 times I walked that path. Third day I got a dream from that Devi saying, I am not going to give you darshan because you still believe in human beings, something like that. So what I am asking is about the Saguna Bhakti, like we still relate to Venkatramana as our family deity, Kuladevata and all. That is not connected to this, I suppose.
For the external world, you may have even Saguna Bhakti also you may have. But you may put your responsibility to the God, deity or anything. But in the psychological world is concerned, surrender alone is helpful for liberation. Here surrender. Put down your psychological.
Without deity rather. Deity is like outside.
For external, for something working or anything, you can have some relationship with, but everything must be within a limit, then it is all right.
Because we usually go to Kula Devata, our Gram Devata and all that.
Within a limit you can make use of that.
But within the psychological surrender itself is
psychologically, surrender to God means same.
Same.
Surrender to God and enlightenment is same.
Oh.
You have to put down your psychological structure totally and entirely into the hands of God. That means you put down, you have no work there. You put them everything in the hands of God or in the hands of nature. You have no work there. So psychologically it is so.
So actual surrender is the key. To whom you are surrendering is secondary.
Yeah. So can finish now.